So I'm back to my art journal doings. So back in my large Dilutions creative journal, double page spread again. This time I've got an idea to do an art journal page. It's kind of inspired by two different things. One was an art journal, well actually it was an abstract painting that I saw and took a snap of in a shop recently, and the other one was a quote. It was a phrase that somebody had used, and I just thought, do you know what, those two would be really, really good to marry up. So it's kind of like a mélange of different kind of ideas in my art journal page today, and it's just going to be a play. It's just going to be a test. Not really sure how it's going to work out, but I'm going to do it anyway. So to start off with, I'm going to completely cover the 2 pages with some music sheets, music paper that show the notes. So I've cut them down to size, and I'm going to just glue these down just using some matte medium. So I'm going to do it all over as the underpaper for the page. I only needed to trim off the excess margins down the side, so it really didn't take long to do. So just hopefully I can get the lid off this matte medium, because it's got a, look at that, tendency to glue together. Lovely stuff. It's a love-hate relationship. I love using it, but hate clearing up after it. Right, so I'm just going to go all over the page, trying to get an even kind of coating of the matte medium. Up the glue, and then whatever's left I'll go over the top. Stick that on there for now. I'm going to do both pages like I said. Now I'm hoping that the sound on the camera, video camera, is going to stay okay. It has been playing up recently, whereas I've had to do a couple of narrations when I didn't really want to. For some reason it just decided to record the video and not the audio, so I'm hoping this video is going to be okay. If it isn't, there may be some parts of it that I speed up and add music to, but my hope is that I can talk all the way through, which will be a blessing for some and a nightmare for others. Because you're a kind of 50-50 split on the sped up and the real-time videos. Okay, so I've done that one. I'm gonna speed up and jump anyway. You've seen me do that and glue that one down. So I'm gonna do the same thing to this page over here, and repeat the process. So I will do that, and then once I'm done and sealed and stuck down, interloper there, I will be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, as the old saying goes. On 5, 4. Okay, so my music paper is all stuck down. There's a little bit of wrinklage, but not really bothered about that. So what I need to do now is to give it a complete coating of gesso. Now I'm going to use clear gesso because I don't want to obscure that music too much from the background. So again, this is going to be a complete coverage from top to bottom. Another boring process because I'm literally just adding on clear liquid and then watching it dry. So yeah, not the most interesting of processes. So I'll start, carry on, and join you when the pain is over. Okay, so gesso's down, just because I forgot, I'm using the Prima Finnabair Art Basics Clear Gesso. So that's the one I've used. because I forgot to mention it earlier. Like a big numpty. Okay, heat time. Okay, so I have my 2 pages which have now been glued down with matte medium, and then I've had a clear coat of clear gesso, a clear coat of gesso. It's a bit of a tautology, like saying a tall giant. Anyway, so that's all now dry. The pages are still a tiny bit warm, but that's fine. By the time I've finished yakking, it'll have cooled down enough for me to actually get started and painting. So, and I am going to be painting mostly on this one. Not, or hardly any, bits of paper, clusters or anything like that. No collage elements, just purely an abstract kind of painted page today, because that's the kind of mood that I'm in. So to begin with, I'm going to bring out, I need a darkish kind of blue. Let's see what we got in my collezione. That one. That will do. Violet is a bit too purpley for my taste. So this will do to start off with as a little bit of a base coat. So I'm going to add just a tiny touch of water, because I want it to go a little bit translucent to be able to see that paper underneath. There we go. Now I could have put this down with a baby wipe, but you know what? I don't want to. So I'm going to go over with the phthalo blue. True blue. Now I'm not going to start singing, don't worry. I'll spare you that. You really don't want me singing. I'll tell you that for nothing. Okay, a little bit more water, just bring that right up to the top. Not particularly bothered about going right up to the edge of the pages, but if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. That's fine. Okay, now then, while that's still a little bit wet, I'm going to bring in lighter colour. So a little bit of ocean, Dina Wackley Ocean, and again just a tad touch of water. Okay, and without even cleaning the brush, you probably can't see that because it's so wet. There we go. And then I've got some indigo blue Townhouse Teal, which is a lighter blue colour, like so. I'm just going to grab some of that and start adding that in a painterly fashion. A little bit more water. Just clean the brush off a little bit. Just try and get rid of some of that deeper blue. That's it. Try not to cover too much of the music notes. I still want them visible in the background, but I also want the colour to show through. Obviously there's a lot of shine from the wet paint. So you're not going to be able to really see much because of all that shine. Okay, let me dry that off now and then we'll take a look. As it starts to dry and go matte, you'll be able to see more of it. There you go, you can start to see it more now. Rather than the reflection. Okay, let's just turn that off. And then you can still see the music notes behind it, but it's still pretty kind of light. So I'm just going to grab a palette knife, and I've got a little bit of paint on it. Now, just grab a little plastic. That's it. Where's that red come from? Obviously not cleaned my palette knife properly, have I? That's a sin. Complete and utter sin. Now, sometimes I have to clean these off with sandpaper. Oops. That's it. Just have some scratchiness. Too much. Right, baby wipe. Quickly, before it dries. There we go. Far too much of it on there. It's okay to use baby wipes, sponges, just to kind of take a little bit of paint off if it's not what you're looking for. Okay, I want to get that dry now. I'll be introducing some white in a bit. But first of all, okay, so now I've got kind of like the first coat down on the right hand side of the page, and I want to do the left hand side, and for that I'm bringing in some burnt umber, and I'm pretty much going to do the same thing again with that one. Now I could use a baby wipe to put this on, in fact, so I've used the brush on that one, so let's use baby wipe on this side instead. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that kind of grunginess in the background. Now then, I don't want to get any on that side there. I want a clear dividing line of the colours. So take a tiny bit of paint. I'm going to go down the inside of the page. A little bit of water. That's fine. Okay. And then I can start bringing back in the baby wipe. A little bit too much gone off there, I need to dry that a little bit. Okay, so not dark enough. So I'm going back in with the paint. Layer number 2, that's better. This is drying quite quickly because the page is warm, but that's fine. A bit more paint down here. Oh, you can still see the notes. Through the paint, which is, I forgot to say again, Reeves Acrylic Burnt Umber. It's drying quite quickly. Tad more. That's more like it. Not too bothered about that. That little hole there. Right, I can still see the music notes between. So I just want to clear my hands, or clean my hands off. I'll let that dry and then I'll be back to tackle this page. This is a bit too blue for me, so I think I'm going to have to lighten it up a little bit, maybe with a colour wash of that Townhouse teal. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so while that's cooling down a little bit, I've still got that paint on my plastic mat, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that and I'm just going to add a little bit of a colour wash. This blue's a bit too blue. That's better. Just to kind of whitewash over. I'll bring it down. But I can still see the notes behind in the back a little. Right, another baby wipe. Sometimes it's just a fine balance between not enough and too much. And it's a real difficult one to get right. I'm not worried about this area here. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, so I need to get that dried off again. 90% drying time. It's always the same with an art journal page. Okay, so I want to lighten this side up a little bit now, so I'm going to use some indigo blue hot cocoa. Hope that's in focus. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that, and like I did with this side and that light blue, I'm just going to take a little bit of paint and a little bit of water, just a little bit, and start adding in some different tones. And again, try not to cover up too much of the music. I just want it lightening up a little bit. Tiny bit. And lighter towards the edges. A little bit of water. that will do. Probably not going to be able to see it while it's still wet, but that's always the case. Okay, so next step, more of that townhouse teal. This time I need to put some on a palette. So I'm going to dump it about there. That'll do me for now. And then I've got a compass with a paintbrush attached to it because I want to do a circle. So I'm going to load up the paintbrush, and I've made a mark just here on the page where I want to be. So if you're not very good at painting or drawing circles, this is a really good way of doing it. Make sure you get back into the same hole. Oops, he says. Bit more paint. Yeah. Okay, so I can put that to one side and then bring out another bigger brush with that paint, and then I can start filling in. Okay, now that side is sort of dry, I'm going to come back in, put my compass point down, and then I'm going to draw out my other side. A bit more brown paint. Don't want to push too hard. But I think that will do. Then wash my brush off, grab my little pot of paint, and then okay, so now the two halves are sort of done. I'm just going to bring in a little bit more of that duck egg, and this time just lighten those edges just a tad. Okay, so I've kind of divided the two pages up into two different kind of colours. So the blues, and then we've got those browns there. So my little paintbrush that had brown paint on last, I'm just going to try and clean that off as best as I can, because I now want some white. Where's my white? There it is. Grab that palette. And I still want to keep the brush, but I want it a little bit further out this time. So let's just bring that back in and attach. And I've still got my hole there. Just make sure that's the right. It is. So pick up some white paint. Okay, so I now want to see if I can draw if the pen will allow. Turn the page round. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. It's only the accumulation of different kind of thoughts, ideas that have been going around my head. Now, where's all that white paint come from? I managed to get white paint from somewhere all over my hands, look. Oh, phantom white. Right, need a quick clean up and I'll be right back before I do any damage at all. Probably got it all over my elbow somewhere. Okay, we're back. Managed to get cleaned up. So, now I'm just going to I'm not a music person, so I don't know whether or not these are real or whether they actually make anything. That really isn't the point. Okay, so I've added a few musical notes, or abstracty kind of musical notes. I'm going to take the rest of that white paint and I'm just going to add in some numbers down here, just to kind of break up that blueness. Of course, music and numbers are so intricately intertwined, it's almost different, well, very difficult to divide one from the other. Okay, so stenciling done. Still doesn't feel as though it's complete, so I'm just going to grab some water and just spritz into that townhouse teal that I had down there. Just see if we can get a few matching splatters. A bit too dry. Just go get some more water. Okay, so I've got a little bit more water. That's more like it. Let's see if we can mix in a bit more there. Still need more. Let's get it nice and wet. A bit more colour coordinated. That'll do for that. Blue on that side. Blue all over my hands now. Right, let's see if we can get some of that brown up this side, some darker spots over here. Pick up the brush, get some brown, mix that in there. Because splatters can be any coordinating colour that you want, particularly over the top of white. That's broken that up a bit. Apart from it being very messy. Okay, let's get some heat onto this, get it dried, because I think I'm getting to that point in the journal process that I'm kind of starting to lose it, and I don't want to do that, as if I haven't lost it already. Okay, so the splatters are dry, and I'm looking at it and thinking, do you know, because we've got like that circle in the middle, it's not mirrored anywhere else on the page. So I've gone into my mark making drawer, put some white paint just on my mat here, and I'm just going to pick up some white paint and just kind of echo some of those circles. I think I'm done. That's it. Don't want to do any more. So I've just got obviously one last thing to do, which is to add my little phrase in, but I need to get these white circles dry first of all, so back in a jiff. Okay, last bit, phrase or quote to add on to Art Journal, which I've just printed off quickly on my computer onto sticker paper, so I don't have to bother gluing, and it's going to go in here. And then that is me. If my pen works. I don't even know what date it is today. 26th. There we go. Done and dusted. I'm well, sort of happy with that. I may come back to it later and add something else. Who knows? So that's all from me for now. Mojo not quite come back, but almost, but not quite. So that's all from me. I hope you did enjoy that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.